Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host, LovelyCheesePizza here. Welcome to another edition of Sports Sunday, where we talk about sports, life, and everything in between. And we're back playing more Baseball Stars, where we only have just a few games left. We're on, game 47 out of 100? 47 out of 100? That wouldn't even be halfway. Apparently, I forgot how to count. 47 out of 50, I am sorry. Apparently, it would appear that I need to go back to school and get general education in order to learn that 47 is not 97, and apparently I have something from Facebook Game Room for a criminal case. Don't get me wrong, I love playing criminal case, but that really needs to go away at some point. There we go. How is that a ball? I swung at it. I swung all the way through it. Yeah, dude, like, it's weird because I have all the notifications from Facebook, like, disabled for Windows 10, so I don't know how I keep getting those. It's weird. Like, I've made it a point to disable all of that stuff so that I don't get notifications while I'm doing videos, and apparently they just keep on coming in. They just keep rolling in, and it doesn't make any sense. But what are you gonna do? I love games like that, though, man. It just, there's something that's, like, so randomly endearing about, you know, the types of games that it's like Photo Hunt, you know? It just, I've always loved those. Like, okay, so at the last house that I lived at, it was about a 3-minute drive away from the Pilot gas station, and in that gas station they had like a little tiny arcade in there, and by arcade I mean it was like one cabinet, like one claw machine, and then one of those like weird Mega Touch machines that you find at bars that, you know, they cost like, it's like $0.25 a game, and they've got just like different touch games, like, you know, there's like shuffleboard, and there's like trivia games, and a whole bunch of just random stuff. Oh, that's not coming down at all. Oh, go. Oh boy, he's hosed. Yep, okay, yeah, we need to go. And so, like, every once in a while, when I had some quarters saved up, like, myself and a couple of friends would drive down to, this sounds so pathetic, we would drive to the gas station in order to play Photo Hunt on the machine and try to go for the high score and try to set the record. And, oh, it was so fun, though. Like, I feel like every time we went in there, we always got the weird look, because it's not like that's a normal place that people go to go. Like, there's not a lot of kids, you know, a lot of high school kids would have been like, hey guys, let's go get our quarters and go hang out at the gas station and play Photo Hunt, you know? Like, it sounds like such a randomly horrible, you know, thing, but dude, we had fun with it. Like, at one point, we basically had the entire high score list was all ours. And it was like, dude, those games would get intense. Like, we get to the point where, you know, we were having like the conjoined efforts of 2 or 3 people, and it would get to the point where, like, you'd get in the really high stages of the game, and the timer would go down so fast that, like, unless you were almost inhumanly quick, even with the efforts of 3 people, it would go faster than you could handle it. And it was insane, and like we'd always just start laughing because it was so much fun to, like, deal with the high stress of that situation. Speaking of not high stress, that was a fantastic first inning. 5-0. That is legit. Now, you know, it'd be really cool, and I'm probably gonna jinx it by talking about it, is it would be super awesome if we threw a no-hitter in this game. Because much like much like the Oregon women's softball team yesterday, they actually threw a no-hitter. Their you know, their pitcher that they had out on the mound, she totally dominated. And the final score of that game ended up being 17-0. Like, how bad would you feel as the other team that not only do you end up having a no-hitter thrown against you, but you absolutely get dominated on the other end of things? Like, it'd be bad enough to have a game, you know, that's a no-hitter where you lose like 2-0, where you feel like if you could have just gotten like a couple of hits, that you had a legitimate chance to be in the game at the end. And with this one, not even close. It's just like, man, we just got our ass kicked in every phase of this thing. It was just it was a nightmare from the get-go. Which is exactly what this is for them right now. Like, this has potential of being a very quick game, unless something, you know, drastically changes, but I'm seeing this going a different direction right now. Go. Oh, whoa. Okay. I'm gonna try to steal second right here. That would be pretty good. That would take away the force out. Okay. And then, nope, then you go. And then you go. Oh no, and then you go. And then you go again. Ah! Go! Oh no! Come on. Come on. Hey, there we go. See? The process works. Like Joel Embiid of the 76ers, you must trust the process. I don't know if that's gonna do it. I have an idea, though. Oh, he's too slow! We found somebody on their team that is slow! Oh, this is great. I mean, always kind of suspected it a little bit. Oh, why would I swing at that? That was terrible. What an awful, awful pitch to swing at. However, that will work. That will score, too. Oh, yeah. And he's going to second. And he's going to get hosed. Maybe not. Oh, boy. Here we go. Come on, Snakes. Make this a 10-0 game. Make this a 10-0 game. If I ended up having this game turn into a 2-inning game, that would be so funny. It's not going to, because I totally fucked that up, but... yeah, you know. Snakes, you bastard, you. You did not come in the clutch here. Alright, here we go. We got one more chance. Come on, Frank. I need you to crank this thing harder than you have ever cranked anything in your own world before. But for the love of God, do not crank that Soldier Boy, because nobody should ever do that. Imagine how much better our world would have been had that never existed. Had Soldier Boy never become popular, because he really never should have been ever in the world, but he did anyways, the world would be a much better place. All of today's wars would have never taken place. The economy would be booming at this point, and the Cubs would have never won a World Series. But yeah, you know, he did what he did, and he basically ruined the entire world in the process. So we have, oh no, there goes the perfect game, damn it! Well, crap. Yeah, see, that's he's just like, I don't even want to live anymore. It's either that or he's like, oh god, a plate of nachos, I gotta have that. Which, you know what? A plate of nachos actually sounds pretty good. I haven't had nachos in a grip. It sounds like a very tasty treat right now. I just got back from my grandma's house. My other grandma. I mean, I'm already at my grandma's house, but just got back from my other grandma's house. You know, she was actually getting baptized today, so that was pretty cool. And there was like a little tiny spread of food going on there. Which, hey, anytime there's ever any sort of shindig going on and they bust out the tray of those little tiny rolled sandwich things, forget about it, man. I will get my fill of those every time. I don't know what it is. Like, I think because like it doesn't really taste any different than just a standard sandwich, but I can eat those things all day. They're so good, to the point where I brought home like a plate of like 20 of them. That I'll probably end up eating at least half of them tonight. And I'm totally cool with that. Watch, what are the odds, by the way, that we don't score for the next, like, 4 innings? And then it turns into, like, an 8-7 game. That would not surprise me at all, for some reason. Come on, Sandy. Throw this thing right into me. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, alright. I want him to throw this thing at me so bad. It'd be like my high school baseball coach, where he said that I pitched in the majors for a while, and I got to pitch against Ken Griffey Jr. and I threw it right at his face, fucking face. And it's like, okay, Lee. Oh yeah, we bet you really did that. He's like, I wasn't scared of him. I wasn't scared of him at all. It's like, dude, we don't care if you were scared of him. It's like you're not this super badass guy that you try to portray yourself to be to a bunch of high school kids with your lazy eye. The guy was such an asshole, dude. I've told some stories about him on this channel before, but dude, he was the worst. He was the absolute worst. Like he'd always tell like these super dirty ass stories about stuff that he used to do when he played in like the minors and the majors for a while. And I don't remember any of them, but I remember them like when he'd get done with them, like some of us on the bus when we were going to, like West Albany or something, we'd just be like, oh my god, like why are you telling us this story, man? This is terrible. But I told you guys the story a while back. I don't remember whether I did it here or in like a regular video, but I remember telling the story about a time that one of our players like went too far, and he had like some red stuff on his pants, and He's like, what's that on your pants? And he made the joke that he totally went too far with, where he said that, you know, that his wife needs to keep her lips to herself, and he just about tried to kill him. Like, we had to restrain the coach from going and beating the living hell out of a kid, and it was ooh boy, but and then after that was the part that sucked for the rest of us, because not only was he like super pissed for the entire rest of the day, but for the rest of the, like, that practice we were doing inside. And so we had the practice inside on like a hardwood floor. It was basically the upstairs basketball court. And so, you know, while he's in his just like furious rage or whatever, we're sitting here, he's like, you know, he's standing there with the fungo bat on one side of the court, and we're on the other side, and you know, we're taking ground balls, and it started out all nice and normal. That might be the dagger right there. It's the dagger. Yeah. I'm gonna get one more run for insurance. But so he was just hitting his ground balls, and like he would always hit them just a little bit harder than normal, anyways, which became really hard, by the way, because on a basketball court, it's really bright in there. And sometimes it was hard to keep sight of the ball because the ball was like almost the same color as the court. And oh my god, dude, we are laying the wood. We are building Abraham Lincoln's cabin with all of this wood right now. It is insane. But hey, you know, we had to have one of these eventually. We've had so many close ones that we had to have one where we just broke the door wide open on him. But when he went into this furious rage of his, he just decided that he gave, like, the amount of shits that he gave at that point were like -6. And so, dude, he was just rifling those things. He was launching them at us. Like, he was hitting them as hard as he could, which, he was a pretty strong dude, so he's just, like, lasering these things down on the floor, and it would hit the floor once, and it would, like, skip up at us, and, like, half of us would bail out. But he told us if we bailed out, that we'd have to run laps. And so we had to sit there and take it, and we had to, like, sit there and try to, you know, not move out of the way. And I believe one of our players got pelted right square in the leg with one of those, and couldn't practice the rest of the day. And, like, that, and then, like, there was so much weird tension in all of that. It was such an awkward time. It's just like, you need to, like, I don't remember if anybody said it, but I think they're like, Coach, you need to, like, step away for a little bit, because, like, you're putting us in danger now, and, like, that's totally not cool. And I think that we actually canceled practice a little bit early that day, because it was turning into one of those things that, like, if the parents found out, like, what was going on with that practice that day, there could have been some serious things going on. And, you know, I don't think anybody would have really wanted to have had to deal with that. Should I bring in... because I don't want to give up runs right now. You know what? It's the 4th inning. He's probably still good to go. He's probably still good to go. If I bring in... I'm going to bring in Marley. You know what? I'm going to do it, because we need to... Actually, I'm going to bring in Peter. His ERA is a little higher, so we're going to bring him in instead. And I'm going to throw one pitch, and it's going to be a home run. I have that feeling. He's going to make contact one time, and it's going to be a straight-up homer. Or I'm going to K him. Not quite. Huh. Ugh. One time, just one time, I want to have him hit just a laser right field and have, you know, let me throw him out at first. Like, that is something I have always wanted to do in any level of baseball. I've almost pulled it off so many times, and most of it was in, like, Little League. Like, those were the glory days when you could get away with something like that. Not so much now. But I had so many opportunities when I actually was a right fielder before I moved my talents to left and center, is that you'd get, like, the token really slow kid. Like, he didn't have to be fat, he just was slow. Oh boy, come on, get it across the way. There we go. Well done. Oh crap, I didn't realize that wasn't the 3rd out. I totally thought that was the 3rd out. Oh no, okay, that'll do it. Yeah, that's gonna be the game, my friends. We have destroyed them! The wrath of Ezekiel Freeman will be felt by nobody else. He is the one that unleashes the wrath of God, you know? But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like there were all these times you get like the token super slow kid that would hit like he'd finally get that one hit, you know, that he'd been trying to get the entire season, where he'd kind of do his not looking at all swing, where he'd kind of look off into the distance, but he'd still bring the bat around and he'd just get contact just enough to get it out of the infield, and he'd go right into right field where I was at. And like, I was super serious about baseball then. Like, I thought for a while that was going to be my primary sport, and it very well could have been. But I ended up, you know, getting into a lot of other things. I did so many sports back then that it was hard for me to pick between one. I was doing basketball, I was doing baseball and martial arts, and a little bit of like flag football too. So I had a lot going on there. So like I was super way into baseball though, and so I used to, like, every single play I'd go like 170% every time. And so he'd hit one out there, and I'd run up and get it, and I'd just throw it as hard as I could to the first baseman. And there were, like, this one particular season, it was my 10-year-old season. I had, I'm gonna say, probably about like 10 or 11 different times where I almost nailed him. Like, I almost got him out. He was safe by like maybe a step to a step and a half every time, and it's just like, God. There was one, too, that it was like a tie goes to the runner kind of thing, and I was so mad, because I threw, like, it was like the perfect storm. I ran up to it, I grabbed it, I did like the perfect crow hop and like lasered it in there, and it was like a perfectly straight throw right into his glove. And I thought that I got him, but the volunteer dad that was the umpire that day called him safe, and oh, I actually threw my glove on the ground. I was so pissed. I was like, how could you call it that way? I was like, he was totally out. And he's like, don't argue with me, son. I was like, well, you're a dick. I couldn't have thrown that thing any better than that. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Alright guys, well that was surprisingly a lot easier than I had expected. But hey, we're 6-1 against them. I told you, you know, a lot of those games that we needed to win against all the other teams, i.e. going undefeated against them, and getting all that extra money, and using those prestige points to get extra money during those games really came in handy, as it has given us the necessary boost to really kind of assert our dominance over these dudes. So we've got just a few games left, and when we come back on the next installment of Baseball Stars on Sports Sunday, we're going to take them on again and see if maybe we can continue this particular style of play. I kind of like it that way. So until then, my friends, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Take care.